Good evening. And here we are. This evening, I want to read you something by heaven's sake. What is this trying to connect? Oh, don't tell me we're going through that again. Well, I'll ignore it and carry on and hope this is going through properly. Harriette Wilson was the author of the memoirs of Harriette Wilson, written by herself. Now, she was a famed British Regency courtesan who became the mistress of William Lord Craven at the age of 15. She was born on February 22nd, 1786, died March 10, 1845. In 1825, her fortunes were fading. Many of the men who had promised her a pension had forgotten, conveniently, but she hit on a way to make them pay up. She notified them that she was writing her memoirs in intimate detail, and for £200 she'd exclude them. A positive stampede of men caused barricades to be set up outside the publisher's premises. And that is Harriette Wilson. At least an introduction to Harriette Wilson. So, this is from her memoirs. I shall not say why and how I became, at the age of 15, craven, whether it was love or the severity of my father, the depravity of my own heart, or the winning arts of the noble lord, which induced me to leave my paternal roof and place myself under his protection, does not now much signify, or if it does, I am not in the humor to gratify curiosity in this matter. I resided on the Marine Parade at Brighton, and I remember that Lord Craven used to draw cocoa trees and his fellows, as he called them, on the best vellum paper for my amusement. Here stood the enemy, he would say, and here, my love, are my fellows. There the cocoa trees, etc. It was, in fact, a dead bore. At past 11 o'clock at night, could have no peculiar interest for a child like myself, so lately in the habit of retiring early to rest. One night, I recollect, I fell asleep, and as I often dream, I said, yawning and half awake, oh, Lord, Craven has got me into the West Indies again. In short, I soon found that I had made a bad speculation by going from my father. I was even more afraid of the latter than I had been of the former. Not that there was ever any peculiar harm in the man, beyond his cocoa trees, but we never suited nor understood each other. I was not depraved enough to determine immediately on a new choice, and yet I often thought about it. How indeed could I do otherwise when the Honorable Frederick Lamb was my constant visitor and talked to me of nothing else? However, in justice to myself, I must declare that the idea of the possibility of deceiving Lord Craven while I was under his roof never once entered into my head. Frederick was then very handsome, and spent all his strength to convince me that constancy to Lord Craven was the greatest nonsense in the world. I firmly believe that Frederick Lamb sincerely loved me, and deeply regretted that he had no fortune to invite me to share with him. Lord Melbourne, his father, was a good man, not one of your stiff-laced moralizing fathers who preach chastity and forbearance to their children. Quite the contrary, he congratulated his son on the lucky circumstance with him. No such thing, answered Frederick Lamb. I am unsuccessful there. Harriette will have nothing to do with me. Nonsense, rejoined Melbourne in great surprise. I never heard anything half so ridiculous in all my life. The girl must be mad. She looks mad. I thought so the other day when I met her galloping about with her feathers blowing and her thick dark hair about her ears. I'll speak to Harriette for you, added his lordship after a long pause. and then continued, repeating to himself in an undertone, "Not have my son, indeed. 6 feet high, a fine, straight, handsome, noble young fellow. I wonder what you would have." In truth, I scarcely knew myself, but something I determined on. So, and his cocoa trees, and his sailing boats, and his ugly cotton nightcap. Surely, I would say, all men do not wear these shocking cotton nightcaps, else all women's illusions had been destroyed on the first night of their marriage. I wonder, thought I, what sort of a nightcap the Prince of Wales wears. Then I went on to wonder whether the Prince of Wales would think me so beautiful as Frederick Lamb did. Next, I reflected that Frederick Lamb was younger than the Prince. But then again, I was undecided. My heart began to soften. I thought of my dear mother and wished I had never left her. It was too late, however, now. My father would not suffer me to return. And as to passing my life, or any more of it, with Craven, cotton nightcap and all, it was death. He never once made me laugh, nor said nor did anything to please me. Thus musing, I listlessly turned over my writing book, half in the humor to address the Prince of Wales. A sheet of paper covered with Lord Craven's cocoa tree, the following letter which I addressed to the Prince. Brighton. I am told that I am very beautiful, so perhaps you would like to see me. And I wish that, since so many are disposed to love me, one, for in the humility of my heart I should be quite satisfied with one, would be at the pains to make me love him. In the meantime, this is all very dull work, sir, and worse even than being at home with my father. So, if you pity me and believe you can make me in love with you, write to me and direct to the post office here. By return of post, I received an answer nearly to this effect, I believe. Miss Wilson's letter has been received by the noble individual to whom it was addressed. If Miss Wilson will come to town, she may have an interview by directing her letter as before. I answered this note directly, addressing my letter to the Prince of Wales. Sir, to travel 52 miles, this bad weather, merely to see a man with only the given number of legs, arms, fingers, admit, be madness in a girl like myself, surrounded by humble admirers who are ever ready to travel any distance for the honor of kissing the tip of her little finger. But if you can prove to me that you are one bit better than any man who may be ready to attend my bidding, I'll even start for London directly. So if you can do anything better in the way of pleasing a lady than ordinary men, write directly. If not, adieu, Monsieur le Prince. I won't see yours by day or night or any kind of light, because you are too impudent. Harriette Wilson. Oh, she was a firecracker. Oh, my dears, I'm getting this trying to reconnect message. So if there is a difficulty, please let me know and we'll see what we can do about it. Anyway, this was fun, and I hope you were amused by it. And I will see you next Wednesday for Tales and Cocktails. Good night.